Hello and welcome to my space planning assignment. First off, we started with the initial idea. Mine was a lighthouse. Then we moved on to different views of the lighthouse. So this would be the top view, this would be the front view, and this would be the back view approximately. Then we started with the process. First, I started off with measurements. The total would be 17 by 15 by 11. My height would be 17 inches, so the lighthouse would be 12.5. The water level would be 0.5, and the rock would be 4 inches. Here is my mood board and my sample board. I first started off with the base cylinder of the lighthouse using a Winston Newton sheet, and this would hold the basic structure of the lighthouse being 7 inches by 12.6. I carried out scoring throughout to help it hold the cylinder shape, but I realized that it was too thin, so I eventually made another layer of box board to go inside it. Then I moved on to the stairs. So the stairs were made out of balsa wood, and I used a semicircle to give it the spiral looking shape and made stairs out of that. Then I moved on to the mold for my epoxy using the plywood base and acetate sheet. I had a lot of issues with epoxy. The mold wasn't stable, so it kept on leaking. So this took me days with different colors and different ways, but it would just leak again and again. So eventually I decided not to fill it to the top and just use what I had. Using white, I made waves and hairdryer to create the waves. Then this was the mold I made for my plaster using cardboard. Uh, I kept the cylinder in the middle because I had to fit my battery in the rock, but the plaster just wouldn't stay, so we had to wait a whole day for it to dry. So then I moved on to the fence. Um, it was out of a plastic sheet, and I created the fence looking shape using different measurements and inspirations from online to give it the look it needed when I would place my light in the lighthouse. Here I'm making the top of my lighthouse using balsa wood again. So I made a square looking shape with frames to attach acetate sheets on the inside for the transparency when the light would be placed on the inside. Here I cut the door and the window in my lighthouse. Initially, the door was meant to be open, so my door was functional and it would be able to open. Here is the plaster. It did not dry, still had many issues with it, so I just ended up leaving it and creating another mold for it again, and then trying to dry it with the hair dryer, but that didn't work as well, so eventually I had to leave it again. But I moved on to spray painting it, and I used green and brown and then a paintbrush for white effect. Then I started to color my cylinder using watercolor for the brick effect. Then I painted the fence using acrylic to give it the opaqueness, and the door and the window frame. Then I colored the top of the lighthouse. Then I made a ladder which would go outside the rock, since initially I was meant to embed in the rock, but that was impossible because of all the issues with the plaster. Here's a circuit I got made. It would be a flickering light which I put through the circle that would go on the top, and this was the battery that would be fitted under the lighthouse. Here's me trying to place all of the things together. The stairs would not go in, and then eventually I could not open the door for it, so I had to leave it as so, and then I attached rocks at the bottom. I've attached stones that I found outside, and here is the light going on and off. It's a flickering light. The doors cannot open since I had to place the battery a bit up, but I do show a shot of you being able to see the inside from the top. This assignment was very problematic and I faced a lot of issues, but eventually we did find a way out. Here I attached the fence at the end so you could see the difference between the light with the fence and without. Here's a shot of it in dark. And that's it. Thank you.